Broadcasting from Hollywood, California, it's Grant's Rants, Hollywood Talk.
Potomac housewives seem recycled. Oscar boycotts lead to Will and Jada being labeled gay. Amy Schumer is not a joke thief, and two fools receive the Sherri Shepherd Award. That and more with Jonny Manganello next. Let the ranting begin. I'm sitting across from actor and host Jonny Manganello.
Hey. I'm so happy to be here.
Well, I'm glad to have you on the show, Jonny. We're going to talk a lot of top topics, and we're used to sitting across the table from each other because we've hosted shows at AfterBuzz.
That's right. Grant came in and hosted a show with us as a guest host, and the fans went wild.
Yeah, it was a great time. I mean, I don't understand what I brought to the table that made such an impression on everyone, but I was glad to do it.
You don't beat around the bush, Grant. You say what you're thinking, you rant, and
I came in with facts.
Yeah. Oh, and you were a Big Brother historian. It was for the Big Brother 17 after show that we did.
I came in with facts. I came in with live feed note taking.
Mm-hmm. You knew everything. Plus, you don't get it, but you are you as yourself are just so delightful and funny.
Oh, good. I'm better than the opposite.
What's that?
Undelightful and miserable.
That's a good point. Like me.
No.
That's why
you
people
wouldn't be
want
here
to
if you were that miserable.
Okay, good.
Now, I made you watch your very first Housewives.
Yes, that's true. It's true. Real Housewives of Potomac broke my cherry. Popped my cherry, I should say.
This show will do that to people. This show will force people to get into the world of Housewives. So I want to reference Grant's Rants, We Need to Talk. A couple people have reached out to me and wished me well and sent some good messages and requests for topics. I want to shout out to Talia DeLuca in Cranston, Rhode Island for listening to me at work. I love Talia. She's one of my favorite best friends back home.
Oh, really? I was going to say you have listeners in Rhode Island.
I love that she reached out. So, Talia, thank you for listening. And at Alexis_blog reached out to me, and she wants us to talk about the Real Housewives of Potomac. So, I said, Jonny, get to work.
And I did. I watched it.
What did you think of this show? Now, you have no prior knowledge of the franchises and all the nonsense, but you're familiar with kind of the
Yeah, I've seen clips of people flipping tables, yelling at each other,
I'm sure you've gotten some gifts sent to you in the mail, text messages.
Yes. Yeah, in the mail. People use snail mail to print out gifts, send them to me of the Real Housewives. Yeah, that's right. I feel like I'm part of the culture even though I'm not. Yeah. You can't escape it. These days.
Really can't.
Plus, I like Andy Cohen and I watch his talk show. I love Anderson Cooper. This is off topic, but I don't know if Anderson Cooper is a listener of Grant's Rants, but if he is, hey Andy, what up? Andy and Andy, both of them. So I'm part of that world, but on the outside. So sitting down today to watch Real Housewives of Potomac was something new for me.
Now, what were your first impressions? Because I'm going to go into mine in 2 seconds, but I want to hear yours first before I go off.
Okay. I cannot believe the drama that these women cook up. I mean, someone will bump into another person and you would think they murdered their firstborn child. It's crazy. And I know that's part of the gimmick, but I'm are they just trying to make airtime? Because this seems so absurd.
It's very contrived to me, and it's all been done before. A lot of the stories that they've told and shown and the etiquette nonsense and all that, we've seen play out in previous stories with all the housewives that have been on for some, 7 seasons and more. So it's 10 if you look at Orange County Housewives. So we're pulling from a lot of catty drama with women. So it's
I see.
To me, it was a recreation of a lot of the best hits. And I feel these women are they know what makes a reality show, and they're not afraid to try to go and get that one-liner and get that gif made of them throwing shade, so people try to throw shade at me. They just can't find me.
Right.
Things like that. They're really trying very hard. Now, to me, go ahead.
Right. No.
I'm going to go off in 2 seconds.
I mean, I think that's an interesting point. So, maybe they're too aware. They've seen too many episodes of Orange County or Beverly Hills. Are these? Yeah. These are seasons,
yes,
right? Yeah. Okay. Yes. I can't believe Orange County and Beverly Hills get 2 different shows.
Yeah. Well, it's the way they were created.
Okay.
Yeah. But yeah.
Anyway, I can't. I get that. It seems like they're maybe like they're trying to fill that role. At the beginning of the episode and you got to help me on names here. That one woman was mad at the other woman for sitting in her seat at her birthday from the previous
Karen
episode.
was upset with Giselle.
Yeah.
Two people I can't stand any way, but yeah.
But I see Giselle like at least tried to make up and make nice. I thought that was good of her. That weird moment when her daughter was like, write this Girl Scout poem. A circles around a has no end. That's how long I want to be your friend. And she did. She was like, okay.
She actually did it.
I was like, really? Do you want to be their friends? Or are you just like, you have to because you're on a reality show together?
Yeah.
Regardless, I was shocked that they were so sassy to her when she tried to make up. Giselle, I thought was like, as she said, extending the olive branch.
Yeah.
What do you don't like her either, though?
Well, I mean, I have a problem with the whole thing.
Okay.
I don't think it's needed, this series. I don't know anyone that aspires to live in Potomac. I do know people like myself that aspire to live in Beverly Hills.
Sure.
People that aspire to live in New York. Some people aspire to live in New Jersey. But, no, it's like, that's more aspirational places. And for this, I just feel like it came out of nowhere. No one was looking for it. To me, it feels like a cross between, like, the Hot Wives on Hulu and then people's spoofs on YouTube, like the Real Housewives of Newark. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it seems kind of like a location that they're trying to make a character of. It's like they keep referencing, in Potomac, we don't do this.
Right.
You get thrown out.
Right.
Like, there's rules of etiquette when you live in Potomac. But it's just like, it's not identifiable.
I'm like, wait,
it's silly.
I had to Google where Potomac was. Isn't that embarrassing? And I was just in
You're not the
D.C.
first.
So I saw the Potomac River in D.C. and I was like, oh, maybe that's it. Maybe they're in D.C. They must be nearby or no?
Yeah, it's right nearby DC. It's like a small community it's a small community, and then within that, like, microcosm is a small group of African American families.
I'm shocked they didn't do a D.C. season.
Well, they did, and it got canceled.
Oh, they did?
So that's why I think that this is, like, unnecessary.
Oh, they did a DC. See, sorry, listeners. I know nothing. Well, it's just, I mean, listen, I'm very different than anybody who would be on that show. I don't like drama. I don't like watching drama. I'm not the person to talk about the Real Housewives. That's for sure.
Yeah.
But come on, people. Like, if there's a real problem, I'll watch you fight about it. But what are these they were also, can we talk about the you can't be black and Jewish thing?
Yeah.
What was that about? Like, certainly you can. Is that drama?
They've made the show around race issues, and not necessarily like racism, but it's like, oh, well, people don't think I'm black until I open my mouth, and I'm more black than she is, and it's like, to me, like, this is not the conversation I want to have with the Housewives. I want to hear more nonsense. Like, I want to hear, like, someone who looked at someone the wrong way. Like, like, that stuff I'm more interested in than having to hear about, like, oh, people like me don't live in Potomac, but I do. Well, like, like, one woman was like, oh, everyone thinks I was Section 8 until I showed them I'm really not. It's like, okay. It's like, dude, it's just trying way too hard to create this world. And the world is either there or it isn't. I am not a fan of the show.
Okay, wow.
I suffered through it. And I will say, there's one woman on there who I just think is the biggest joke, who I actually might take a peek at just to see what she's up to. Robin. Robin's the one that's very light-skinned, bigger, and she kind of talks like a man.
Yeah, and she was like, people don't think I'm black, right? That woman?
Yeah, the one who had to wear the wedding dress.
Yeah.
Yeah. To me, I think she's very entertaining. But I think, and this is the last thing I'll say about it, I think there's only about 2 housewives that they could keep on the show, and I think everybody else will probably be recast when they try to salvage what's left of it. I mean, it opened up to good ratings.
It did.
It did. I mean, 2 million people was the highest rated premiere of a Real Housewives franchise. Granted, they've had 10 years to build an audience who enjoy the Real Housewives.
That's shocking to me, actually. And I'll say this. I do want to mention that, who's the woman who is 26 years old?
Oh, Ashley.
Who married rich. She was poor and then she was rich. Okay, so Ashley, when she was asked, like, what her charity was for, or what her fundraiser was for, she was asked to describe the charity. She couldn't even say anything. She was like, it's for education and schools, and we take the schools and put education. And I was dying. I'm like, okay, so basically this is just an excuse to drink martinis.
Yeah.
Okay, so there's not much substance. That's, I'm guessing, is the recurring theme between Real Housewives seasons.
Yes, for the most part. Yeah, so when it comes to them, I might take a peek, but I'm not impressed, nor do I think it's needed. Now, another listener reached out on Twitter and at Call Me Bryce Lee.
Okay.
And they wanted to talk about the outpouring of comments on Twitter regarding, is the world really round? Now, many people on the planet, long before I, have already settled this. This has been something that's been established.
I didn't know it was up for debate again.
Yeah. Like, I mean, we've all seen a globe in a library, or I had one in my room growing up. You know, like,
Right.
we all have an idea what the shape of a planet is. You know,
Right.
it's pretty basic. But much like Sherri Shepherd, those before her, B.O.B. is debating the shape of the world, and he's posting pictures of drawing lines to say, like, look, this is a high point, like Mount Everest, and the horizon line is still flat, like there's nothing round about it.
Yeah.
So it's up for debate again, and he's not the only one talking about it.
Right. Tila Tequila has been on a rant on Twitter about the world being flat. I don't want to, say much about Tila Tequila because from what I can tell, and I'm no doctor, but it seems like she might be mentally ill based off like her strange tweets that she's been tweeting lately.
Do you think it's like the Amanda Bynes effect, though, where you just fall off and then you show out, but then, if you're taken care of and you're not on a bunch of drugs, allegedly, come on, who are we kidding? But you know what I mean? Like, maybe she's just hyped up on a bunch of stuff. I don't know her.
I don't know her either, and I wish her well. I just think that what she's saying about the world being flat is silly. And also, like, Neil deGrasse Tyson has weighed in on this, and he's a scientist with TV shows, and he's, in my opinion, very smart, interesting,
good source
charismatic.
for such
right, man.
proof of information.
He's all over B.O.B.'s tweets. He responded being like, you're an idiot, basically.
Yeah, he's like, you're living like 5 centuries ago or something like that. So B.O.B. put out a song, and I listened to this song, and it was horrible. But it was just about, like, it's called Flatline, it's called Flatline.
Okay.
And it's like, talking about like politicians and like, how he's on top of everything, and it's just a bunch of nonsense. So I tip my hat to Tila Tequila and to B.O.B., and I award you the Sherri Shepherd Award.
Announcing the recipient for the Sherri Shepherd Award for excellence in ignorance.
I love it. I love that that is an award that exists in the world. Do you have a trophy that you mail to these people?
Oh, not yet. The budget isn't in place for that.
You should. It should be like a flat globe. It should just be a globe. You can like find a globe and then just smush it and send it to them.
Yes. For those of you who don't remember it, my favorite video on YouTube is the video where Sherri Shepherd says she doesn't believe in science, and that they ask her if the world is round. She says she doesn't know. She'd have to go to the library.
Well, go ahead. You live in New York. Walk down the street. There's a lot of libraries. Also, it's too bad because Sherri Shepherd on 30 Rock kills me. Do you watch 30 Rock or did you?
I have. See, I'm just not a fan.
Ooh,
I'm a fan of the show, but her, I have a hard time.
I think she'd get some points in your book if you saw her on the show because she is pretty funny.
Yeah, I've seen it a little bit, but I don't know. To me, she played the role that anyone could have played.
Okay.
It required that much talent. Anyway,
all right, Grant's Rants.
Moving along, Amy Schumer is all over the place, defending herself that she is not a joke stealer.
Yes.
And I saw a lot of videos which showed the comparison between her stand-up, a bit on her show Inside Amy Schumer, whatever, versus jokes that were previously made by other female comedians and YouTube channels and places and things like that.
Yeah.
So at first I was like, damn, Amy, I don't think it looks very good for you.
Right.
Because it was almost like spot on, you know? And then I thought, well, maybe someone on her writing team for her show is kind of the stealer.
Right.
You know, and because her name is in the title of the show, it just falls on her back. But
Sure.
I thought maybe someone else is stealing things that she doesn't know of.
Yeah.
What did you think?
I think that's an interesting point. So I love Amy Schumer, and when I heard these allegations, I was like, no, and it looked pretty damning. But then I listened to her interview that she did, like, right when this came out. She really wanted to nip it in the butt.
Yeah, so she went on the Jim Norton show, and
and she said, and what she said is, I'm going to take a lie detector test on camera and air it in full, unedited, on my show this upcoming season. So that right there is like, oh, okay, pretty cool.
Yeah.
Also, my mom is a prosecutor, not to be confused with a prostitute, as everybody always likes to make that joke, in a court back in Michigan. And she does, like, lie detector tests all the time. And she is, like, lie detector tests don't lie. Like, you can't get around a lie detector test. So if Amy Schumer... So if my mom says... but if Amy Schumer takes a lie detector test, which she's said she's going to do, on camera, unedited, I'd say... Yeah, we'll let her go.
The way she described everything, she's just not the type of girl that would do it. And for what reason would she steal from her peers in an industry like that, and rob herself of all of her success?
Right, and also I think what you said about her show and her staff is really interesting. Like, there is a good chance that Amy Schumer didn't write those jokes that are in question, right? It's not like we're looking at her stand-up set. And even if we were looking at her stand-up set, there's a good chance that she has a staff of writers for that as well. So it's not necessarily Amy Schumer who stole the jokes or who was influenced by these other comedians. It could have been anybody else on staff. So before we go, burning her on the stake on Twitter, on Instagram, or whatever, I say let's let everybody calm down for a second. Let her take this lie detector test.
Yeah.
And maybe it is somebody else on our staff, which is not good. No. And that person should not have a job if he or she is stealing jokes.
It has to be hard to have original jokes that a lot of them are timeless. Right. Like the one that she said about, like, she loves when men pay for sex. Yeah. Things like that. I mean, that's not topical. That's not linked to hot topics or anything like that. Sure. Like, anyone can say that in the 80s, 70s, 90s, and today. So, like, this, there's only so much to go around.
Oh, totally.
So it's tough. It's a tough one, but I feel like she's, in the right place. And she did say, she's like, when you reach your success, they build you up just to take you down. Yeah, I thought that was so true.
It's an interesting point. She was talking about how females have to deal with that in a way males don't. And I think, there's something there. Like, we like to diva worship, right? We love Amy Schumer. We love Jennifer Lawrence. We love Beyonce. We love Adele. As soon as they do one thing wrong, we take everything back. We hate them. We post on Facebook. We post on Twitter. And I just don't think that's fair. I think you got to give these people a little leeway. They're people too. And have you ever tweeted and then realized oh, that might not have been my joke? I mean, sometimes I'm like, have I heard that before? You can't remember everything that you hear and where it was sourced and all that. So unless it's a repeated offense, which it's not, I'm going to be based off of what she says.
Yeah, she doesn't want to make it she doesn't want this to be her calling card in the industry for the rest of her time, the person who rips people in it. Yeah, it won't be. But yeah, it's a shame that people have to create such a big deal out of so little. But let's talk about someone else who made a big deal about something. So we all know the Oscars are having a tough time.
Yes.
And it's not everyone, but people are boycotting it. Whoopi Goldberg is on The View screaming for 10 minutes about it. It's too much to me. And, I really think, it's something that is a larger issue. I really don't care about a bunch of millionaires collecting trophies. But, I mean, I get that there's more to the whole deal. But, I'm just kind of what the hell is going on? When someone like Alexis Arquette crawls out from under a rock to make a Facebook post.
Right. I think we have to consider a few things. First of all, rumors of Will Smith being gay are not new. We've been hearing them forever. That's his business. If he is gay, great. I wish he would come out. I think that people in a position of power like that can really influence people, and they should. But it's not Alexis Arquette's job to out him. And also, even if let's say she's right, even though, who knows? Let's say she's right. What does that do? Why is she adding this nasty blow at Will Smith and Jada Pinkett Smith when they're trying to make all they're doing is saying, I'm not going to the Oscars. They're not saying, if you go to the Oscars, you're racist. They're not saying, if you go to the Oscars, you're a terrible person. They're just saying, it's my right to boycott. And they're going out publicly and saying, I'm doing that. I don't understand why people have an issue with that. It's not you. No one's asking you to change anything. Right. They're doing it for themselves and to make a statement. So for this, wait a minute. Is it Alex Arquette or Alexis Arquette?
Alexis.
Okay, this article I'm reading says Alex, so that must be a misprint.
I think that's the former name.
I see. Okay, so Alexis Arquette has deleted this post. It should be noted, by the way. But she says,
Which says a lot when you say nothing, when you take it off.
Exactly.
You know?
But Will Smith, his ex-wife, Sherri Fletcher, has come out and said, Alexis Arquette, I've never met. I don't know who this woman is. And Will Smith and I did not get divorced because I walked in on him with a man in bed, which is the claim that Alexis Arquette made.
Her quote that she put on Facebook, the excerpts from what she said, is when Jada comes out as gay and her beard husband admits his first marriage ended when she walked in on him servicing his sugar daddy, Benny Medina, then I will listen to them. So, okay, and then she says that his first wife was paid off. Now, the first wife is whom you're referencing. Right, sorry,
I sort of skipped ahead there. But yeah, his first wife then says, Will Smith has a lot of money, but not enough to take my voice away. And I just thought that was beautiful. Like, she said, he's not gay. He wasn't gay when I married him. He wasn't gay. He's not gay today, basically. And I just don't see how this woman, Alexis Arquette, has any stake in the matter. Like, who are you?
I know.
I had to
literally
Google
crawled
her.
out from nowhere.
She was in The Wedding Singer, and I'm like, okay, cool, got it. Great. So why are you talking about And also, as an LGBTQ ally or woman, or I don't know much about her, but I assume she's in that grouping of people.
Yes.
I just think she should be nicer. I think that she should be more inclusive. I do not like it when people who have been victimized their entire lives come out and try to victimize, people who have been publicly shamed come out and try to publicly shame other people.
Yeah.
I think it's mean.
And I think it's terrible whenever anyone tries to out other people too. I just don't think it's necessary on any level. It's in such poor taste, and that's why I've never been able to take to Perez Hilton. Because he built his brand on outing celebrities. Right. And I was like, that's just such like a gross thing to do. So I've never been a fan of his ever since. Right. I'm not into it. And TMZ, they were in that same business too. And they shouldn't have been, but...
Yeah, it's interesting.
Allegedly.
Because this media we consume is very invasive, right? Like TMZ, Perez Hilton, even E! News does this, where they will tell you stuff that I'm sure these celebrities don't want the world knowing. But there seems to be an area where we need to draw a line. Sexuality is no one's business but the person who decides to, give that information about themselves.
Yeah, I mean, it's one thing if you want to promote a new TV show you're on, or you're writing a book, or you're building a new home or something, but stuff like that, that's like, there's got to be a line somewhere.
Right. I think it's one of those things like, I'm down for entertainment news when it's non-invasive. And what Alexis is doing is totally invasive. And it's trying to fight fire with fire. If she really is upset at Will and Jada, just talk about what they've said. Don't talk about rumors.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Alexis, it doesn't look good for you. Go back, go hide again. I don't know what you're doing. I don't know what you're doing. Go away. I'm not interested in hearing about this. She's just jumping on the Oscar bandwagon. I think that's what it is.
Yeah.
More than anything. And a lot of people are. A lot of people are signing off. And some people are signing off in ways in which to try to change things, and other people are just trying to get more followers and popularity out of it. So yeah, that's why I wasn't going to get into a whole debate if the Oscars are like too white and all that on this show, because you can go anywhere and listen to all that, and we're two white men here in Hollywood talking about it. So I mean, obviously, there should be more nominees, and there needs to be more projects in which to nominate, and it is what it is. But when people show out and they're like clamoring for attention, then that's when I'm like, okay, what are they saying? Like, how desperate are we going to get here? And so that's why I want to talk about Alexis.
Right, totally. And this Oscar debacle is going to continue to grow, I'm sure, because every day there's somebody else sounding off on the Oscar debate, and that's their right. And I just think Alexis really overdid it on this one.
Yeah, I agree. And on a side note, Stacey Dash had some crazy comments too that I think she kind of overdid as well. But
she's doubling down, though. I went on her Twitter, and she was staying true to what she said on Fox News. I mean... Listen.
Let's really quickly recap what she said. That, basically there's no need for like a BET award.
Black History Month is bogus. Yeah.
Because she wants like total inclusion.
Yeah.
But from a historical perspective, too, you have to kind of pay homage to those moments, those teaching historical moments that do have a place in history, that are worth recognizing. Mm-hmm. You know, you have to recognize certain things and benchmarks in life.
And also, like, I'm a white dude from a predominantly white suburb. If we didn't have things like Black History Month, MLK Day, you know, if we didn't learn about the history of African Americans in America and in the context of the United States, I would never know these things, right? Like, because my world was so whitewashed. I needed those specific months, days, you know, lessons to really teach me what I know about Black history.
Right. Mm-hmm.
It's crucial not just to Black people, but to white people, I think, as well.
Yeah.
You need to know where you have been in the history of the country. And slavery is such a huge part of American history. The civil rights movement, such a huge part.
Well, with regards to like BET and Centric, like I totally understand and realize why those networks are put into place, of course, to take on talent that is, you know, unfortunately not picked up in other areas, main networks and things like that. And it's for a specific voice. And all of cable is niche programming. Yeah. All of it.
So there's a golf channel.
Yeah.
Right? Like, that's for people who like golf.
So that's, that is exactly the world that we live in. But yeah, I mean, would it be great to have all-inclusive awards where we wouldn't have to have, you know, just like, you know, the BET Awards just to celebrate?
Well,
you know?
Maybe we wouldn't need the BET Awards if Oscars weren't so white. You know what I mean?
And there we are, full circle. Yes. I do agree.
I don't know.
Now, if you've looked at Instagram and, of course, Britney Spears' social media feeds, you'll see that there's 3 new videos out. Black and white videos of her dancing and on the floor, and apparently there's they were like, oh, there's rumors of new music coming. Yeah, that was confirmed in November. She is recording a new album, so I don't get what the speculation's all about. It's confirmed.
I think people are just on the edge of their seat. You remember when Adele released the first bit of Hello on that commercial, and people were like, what's this mean? When's it coming out?
Yeah. That's so smart, though, to build that buzz right now.
Totally. I mean, look at what happened with Adele and Hello. Who knows what could happen with Britney and her newest hit.
I'm so happy, though, because I've been listening to a lot of old school Britney stuff. When I went home for the holidays, I went through all my stuff. God, my mother made me go through everything. So I listened to it. I saw, like, you know, the original Gaga CD and then all the Britney CDs that I had because I've always bought them. And so I started listening to them, and now I'm listening to them out here. So I'm, like, gearing up because I want to go see the show in Vegas. Have you seen it?
No. I will say I'm not a huge Britney fanatic.
Okay.
However, the other day, and this is sort of weird that this is all happening, I was in the car with my coworker, and she said, can we turn on Britney's Spotify station? So I was like, okay, weird request, but sure. I turned it on, and oh my goodness, that girl knows how to make a hit.
Yep. If you think of all the hits.
Honestly, and the thing is, like, I don't think she's very talented. I think she's a great dancer, and I think she knows how to, you know, perform.
Yes.
Of course. Her singing voice leaves something to be desired in my mind, but I don't care. I don't care because when I listen to that music, I'm not listening to her for the same reason I listen to Adele. I'm not listening to her for the same reason I listen to oldies, classics, Simon and Garfunkel. I listen to her because I want to have fun, maybe go out, drink a little, dance, and you know what? She hits the nail right on the head.
Yeah.
For that.
Yeah, no, she's got so many hits. I really want to see everything come together in Vegas. I mean, I haven't been able to justify the price because I'm like, well, it's a lot of strutting around. There's no real singing happening. You're paying for a production.
Is it all lip synced?
Yeah.
See, that's frustrating.
I've had a hard time justifying the payment. But then I'm like, you know what? Before she renewed her contract to continue to do her show, I said, damn, if she ends her show here, I'm going to regret not going and seeing it. So this is a sign. Yeah.
You got to go.
So now that she's re-signed, I'm like, okay, now really no fooling around. Go and pay for it. I haven't been to a concert in so long. I've never even been to the Hollywood Bowl. So it's so I'm like,
Plus Vegas.
I do.
Vegas is so fun.
Yes.
Vegas is like Disney World. I want to be there for like a few hours and then I'm ready to go.
Yeah.
So like...
I'm given like 2 nights at the most.
Oh, yeah. 2 nights and you're ready to get
that last
out.
day, yeah, I'm like, get up and go right to the car.
Totally.
Like, yeah, I don't need any brunch. I don't need to go to the pool. Like, we're out. Like, that's how I feel about that. Yeah, it's so funny how it gets you, and then it just have a moment where you're over it.
Do you have any listeners from Vegas that you know of?
Not that I know of.
I'd love to know what it's like to live in the madness that is Vegas. And again, I'm sure there are areas that aren't as crazy as the Strip, but you know. I would love to see the Britney show, especially after what I said the other day, just like rocking out to her with my coworker. Yeah. There is something special there. It's like I think it's like how I think it's like how people like the Real Housewives. They like it, but they don't want to admit they like it. Although maybe that's a stereotype.
There are some die-hard Britney fans. I was one of them for a long time. I fell off somewhere in the middle around the shaving head period, and now I'm back on. I've been back on for a minute, but I'm actually going to Vegas. I'm going to Vegas in February for 1 night.
Are you going to go to the show?
But I'm going to downtown Las Vegas, where like the older casinos are. So I don't know what to expect.
What are you doing there? Why are you doing
I'm going for a birthday, not my own, but I'm going for somebody else's.
Okay.
And I don't know what to expect in downtown Vegas.
I don't even know what that means.
So if you have been there, tweet me and tell me if it's any good.
Yeah, where should you eat? What should you do? What are the sights to see in downtown?
I really don't know. So we'll have to figure that out. So as the world contemplates if the globe's actually round, we're going to take a moment to think on that ourselves. And we'll be right back.
You're listening to Grant's Rants. Please rate, subscribe, and share on iTunes and social media. Spread the word. There are a lot more rants to come. Follow us on Twitter at Grants__rants. And now for the one-on-one.
Johnny, I want to know more about you. Let's talk about what brought you here and what you're up to. I want to know it all.
So, great. You're giving me a platform to just talk about myself. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, pretty much. That's what this show's all about. The real Hollywood hustle.
Yeah. Okay, well, let's see. I am from a town called Grosse Pointe, Michigan. Maybe you've seen the movie Grosse Pointe Blank, or maybe some of your viewers have. Takes place in Midtown. It's a suburb of Detroit, and it is an interesting place. It's an all-white suburb, basically, next to an all-black city, basically. I mean, my house was on the dividing line between Grosse Pointe and Detroit. So, in a way, there's some racial tensions there, and rightfully so, because you have the wealthiest people in the world on one side of the street and some of the poorest, most impoverished people on the other side of the street.
True.
And there's a really interesting video on YouTube. It's called like The Drive from Detroit to Grosse Pointe or whatever, but basically someone just films driving from Detroit a couple blocks over into Grosse Pointe, unedited, and you see the difference.
Wow.
And I am from the side of the tracks that was fortunate enough to provide a good education and food on the table, and for that reason, I like to... basically what I'm saying is I was born into privilege, and I think that it's everybody's job to help everybody out. And so that's my philosophy on life. Not that you really asked that. But moving to LA, it's really interesting because it's not all that different, right? You have Beverly Hills, and just a couple miles away, you have Compton. So this is sort of like an American thing. And I think moving to LA was an easy transition in that way, because right now I'm sort of in this limbo area, right? Like struggling actor, struggling host. But like, that's my upbringing. I don't know if you needed all of that.
But it paints such a picture. I mean, was it just like lack of opportunity for you to do what you wanted to do? I feel like Rhode Island had a very similar economic shutdown as Michigan famously has. You know?
Yeah, it's really interesting. Detroit is in an interesting position because there's a lot of growth right now. Right? A couple of years ago, they filed bankruptcy. It hit rock bottom. And now businesses are coming in. And I don't just mean big businesses. I mean local businesses. Local farms are are occupying spaces in the city that, used to be vacant. And so it's a really exciting time, I think. My brothers, for example, run a theater company called Fratellanza, and you can check them out on fratellanza.org. I come from a very creative family, even though my two older parents two older parents. I mean, my two parents are lawyers. My two older brothers are also actors. And they do original theater. So they do something very different. I'm sort of the sellout who moved west, went to Hollywood to, make it in film and TV. Whereas my brothers do really, really great political, interesting, physical, movement-based theater pieces. So we all do a little bit of...
that's a very different side of the coin compared to
it is.
TV.
It's something I'm also interested in. I'm writing a one-man show right now that sort of deals with Hollywood and sort of LGBT issues in Hollywood. I'm a proud gay man, and I like to talk about queer theory and LGBT theory. So that's something I'm working on right now. And that's sort of a meeting ground between LA and my roots back in Michigan, right? I have my family back in Michigan who's very much about theater and creating original content. And then I'm out here in LA, like auditioning for McDonald's commercials. And I want to blend the two together and sort of talk about the differences and also the similarities.
Wow. So what brought you out here specifically? Just to do
film and TV?
Yeah. What was the breaking point where you're like, okay, I'm going?
Yeah,
I'm making the move.
So I love New York. I just spent a week in New York. I saw Hamilton, which was amazing. I saw Curious Incident of the Dog in the Night. I love theater. Like that is something I will hopefully do the rest of my life. However, I thought, I'm young. I have this one opportunity to be young and probably as attractive as I'm ever going to be. I might as well. And trust me, I'm not calling myself attractive because Mindy Kaling tweeted the other day, like, I'm in New York 5 and I'm in LA dead. So that's how I feel. So I thought maybe right now, while I'm not too dead looking, I should move to LA. So that's what I decided to do. And hopefully I will live in New York at some point and do theater and film. I'd love that.
So that's the goal, is theater and film.
Yeah, I'm just experimenting over here for a while. I've been here for about 2 years and we'll see what happens.
Right.
I love LA. It's beautiful. I like that I can go outside. I love that it's January and it feels like the middle of spring. It's wonderful. But
it's true.
I'm someone who doesn't want to stay in one place for too long, so I'll bop around.
I feel the very same way as you.
Good.
I'm like, like you, I don't have any family out here really, so I don't have anything tying me here. So I'm like, always kind of looking to see where the grass is a little greener. Sure. At this point in the year, grass isn't green anywhere besides here in LA. No, because of the drought. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, just about. So yeah, that's kind of, I can relate to you exactly with that. Now, day to day, like, how are you paying your bills? Like, what do you do, in between all of these auditions and projects?
I am a tour guide at Universal Studios, so I take people around in the film studio, show them sets from some of our favorite movies and TV shows. We go to the Psycho House in the Bates Motel. We go to Whoville. We have a huge airplane crash zone site from the War of the Worlds from 2005. It's really fun. It's a great job. It's a wonderful survival job. And it's something that it's great because I get to practice my hosting skills on a daily basis, which I love. I also do the VIP tour there. So I, sometimes get fun run-ins with celebrities. The other day, John Travolta wanted a tour for him and his kids. And I was like, should I do it? They were asking me to do it. And I was like, oh, but I don't know. I have to go. I had rehearsal for my improv class. I was like, I'm going to go to improv class instead because I don't want to bail on my team. And I told my improv coach that when I arrived, that I skipped out on giving John Travolta and his children a tour because I needed to go to improv practice. And he was so mad at me. He's like, in the future, if you ever have that option to give John Travolta, and mind you, John Travolta was in the news recently because of going clear in the Scientology thing. Right. He was like, I want to know everything. Next time you can give him a tour, do it. You can skip improv practice. I don't care. So yeah, we have a lot of fun things that happen at Universal.
Now, I heard that there's like a giant book larger than the Bible that you have to know in case if the tram gets stuck or there's a lapse in
Who'd you hear that from? Because that's absolutely accurate.
It is.
Do you know other guides?
No, I don't. I gave tours for NBC as a page, but not like backlot tours.
Okay, so there is a book. It's actually a binder, and it's a 3-inch thick binder. It says it's bright purple. It says NBC Universal tour script or something. But we call it the tour Bible because it really is this thing that we had to read it from top to bottom, know every little detail about every little thing that ever filmed at Universal. It was a crazy 3 weeks of training. And I constantly go back to the Bible and flip through it and look up things maybe I didn't see the first time or I've forgotten about. And yeah, there's just a lot of great NBC trivia, Universal history, things like that. And Universal is a really interesting film studio. The guy who founded it is a guy named Carl Laemmle, and he is a Jewish man. He came here from Germany back in the early 1900s. And right before World War II, he saw the writing on the wall, saw that, Hitler was rising to power, things were not good for the Jews in Europe. He brought over hundreds of relatives on his dime. And by relatives, I think that's sort of a loose term. But he brought over a lot of people he knew and relatives and gave them jobs in the film industry because it was booming at that time. And they called him Uncle Carl Laemmle, right, because of all the nepotism, giving his family jobs. Yeah. But it was also this beautiful thing he did. I mean, he saved the lives of many, many Jewish immigrants, which I just think is really cool. And that's sort of like the foundation of Universal. And
the nepotism lives on today.
Yes, that's right. It does. It does. It seems like Hollywood is all about the nepotiz.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. So what are some other experiences that you had on this tram? Or you were in the VIP bus? So how is it all set up?
I do both still. I do the regular tour and the VIP tour. The regular tour is basically like a 170 person long tram with 4 different cars connected, that drives around the film studio for about an hour. The VIP tour is 2 hours long in a 25 person trolley, very comfortable. There's water bottles up front. There's air conditioning. You pay a lot for this tour, but you also get a guided tour of the theme park at the end of the day. And the Harry Potter world is about to open. Right. So it's going to be Harry Potter, the rest of the theme park, and the film studio, as well as this beautiful buffet lunch. That's part of the VIP day. And it's interesting. You get a lot of rich people, but you also get celebrities sometimes. A couple months back, Leonardo DiCaprio was on the VIP tour, and it was a late night tour, and he was there with a lot of young, beautiful women.
No surprise there.
And there may or may not have been drug use. and they were up in the lounge, and they came down to get on their tour, their tram. I did not give them a tour, but I was standing in the reception room. And I was like, bye guys, have fun. And this man walks down with a scarf tied around his face, like over the front of his face. So you can't see anything, but there's a big bushy beard popping out. And he was like, thank you, sir. As I said, have a good day, or have a good tour. And I was like, that's weird. I know that voice. I was like, oh, right. Leonardo DiCaprio. Wait, why does he have a scarf wrapped around his face? Turns out he just didn't want people in the theme park seeing him. I'm like, they're more likely to notice you with a scarf around your face than if you just go out there and put sunglasses and a hat on.
Well, isn't it a nighttime tour?
Well, he was there at night. Yeah, it's not always.
So what the hell did you got to worry about it in the dark? No one's checking for you, boo.
I know. Grant, I know.
I don't like things like that. I'm like, please, you're taking yourself way too seriously. You're giving it way more thought than anybody else would.
Totally. Very funny stuff. Yeah. So we have our fair share of laughs and fun, and like I said, it's a good job to practice those hosting and presenting skills.
Yeah. What's it kind of like behind the scenes to work in a theme park like that?
I don't spend much time in the theme park. I hate theme parks, to be honest, and I know that's ironic because I work at one, but I'm really more interested in the tour portion of the day. So, it's funny, you see, SpongeBob and Marilyn Monroe getting ready backstage to go onto the theme park, and that's kind of fun to see. It's cool. I will say Universal is a really nice company to work for. I think they're good to their employees. I know you worked at NBC Universal, and I know I mentioned 30 Rock earlier in the episode. I love watching 30 Rock because it really skewers studio culture and NBC Universal culture. Yeah. And I just think that's so funny because a lot of it is based on reality.
Right.
But yeah, it's been nice. It's been a good job. I'm very grateful.
That's great.
Good sense of community too.
So what's coming up for you? What are you working on next?
So like I said, I'm writing the show. I just had a breakthrough in the script yesterday. I was sitting at Coffee Commissary and I'm like, oh, I had my Oprah aha moment.
I love those, yes.
And I'm definitely going to incorporate my tour guiding skills and history and stories into this show, and sort of use the tour as a vehicle for branching out into Hollywood history and sort of the absurd gay issues and underground gay community of Hollywood throughout history. So I'm working on that show. Just been auditioning a lot, trying to get some hosting gigs, trying to get some acting gigs. Pilot season's coming up.
Yeah.
The same old, same old. I don't know how interesting that is to talk about, but yeah, that's what I'm doing.
Right.
The hustle. The hustle.
Yeah. How do you stay motivated to keep going? Because there's just so much rejection on every turn of this business,
Well,
keep it going.
I'm happy to work my day job, and on my days off and when I'm not working, I always try to do something creative, and that's easier said than done. Sometimes I'll be finding myself watching Big Brother when I should be maybe working on something else, but or the Real Housewives of Potomac, whatever the case may be.
Yeah, you can skip that next week.
But I really do try to keep my creative juices going, and my whole theory is like, all I want to do is create. Like, I'm not here to be famous. I'm not here to be on TMZ. If that happens down the road, great. But my goal is to be on a sitcom and have fun and do comedy, to create my own original content. And also, I'm gotta travel. I gotta move around. I went to Washington, D.C. I should have said hi to the ladies of Potomac when I was in Washington, D.C. I went to New York, like I said. And also right now, I'll tell you this. This is my New Year's resolution, was to be a better L.A. citizen. Because we shit on L.A. a lot. Pardon my French. We crap on L.A. a lot. I don't know if you do this, but I do. When people say, how's L.A.? I say, oh, just traffic and dumb people.
It's a city full of traffic and C-list students.
Right.
But yes.
However, there are great museums. I went to the Broad the other day. Have you been there?
No, I
It's
really
a great
want to
new
go.
free contemporary art museum. I went to the Mark Taper Forum to see a play the other day. So I'm really trying to experience the culture of LA, because if I'm gonna live here, and I'm gonna live here, I'll be here for a while, I want to really live here and experience it.
Right, absolutely.
Yeah.
I feel the same way. The bowl is something that I really want to do. I've lived here now for 7 years.
Yeah, the Hollywood Bowl.
Yeah.
I still haven't been there.
Yeah, so it's on my list.
We should go see a show together.
We should, because I really want to go.
It's the down season.
Yeah.
Which is good for me because I drive by the Hollywood. This is traffic. I drive by the Hollywood Bowl to go to work. So in the summer, it's like hell.
This is some real Hollywood talk, kid.
Yeah, guys, this is Grant's Rants Hollywood talk right here.
Yeah. If you have to get to and from the valley, which would be unfortunate, but if you have
every day, baby boy.
And they're either starting a show, which means there's dozens of vans from all over SoCal.
Dozens.
Hundreds,
maybe thousands. Dozens of vans.
Yeah.
Ooh.
There's so many. No, I'm talking about the big,
I know what you're
buses,
saying.
the buses.
Like Selena Gomez and her posse getting
yeah.
those buses. I see what you're saying. You're right. Dozens of those.
They're just lined up. They close off full lanes just to park these buses. It's incredible. And then if you ever are coming out of the valley when the show is getting out, you're going to sit there for I've sat there for at least 50 minutes to an hour.
Oh, absolutely. Hey, here's a secret. Anybody who lives in LA who's listening right now, here's a secret for you. Don't go down Highland, right? Don't use the Hollywood Highland exit. I know this seems simple, but everybody does it. Go down to Cahuenga, or even better yet, go down to Vine or Sunset or Gower.
Yeah.
Sorry, I know this is so boring for people that don't live here, but it's much easier. Just avoid that. You go out of your way a little bit, but you save so much time.
Right? Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, for me, I forget about this bowl. And then I thought it closed.
This bowl thing.
I thought it closed after Labor Day. Mm-hmm. Nope, that thing was open till the end of November. Mm-hmm. So I was like, oh, it's closed, it's good, we're done. And then I kept getting stuck. So yeah, now is the time to not have to deal with that.
If we have to put up with that, we might as well enjoy it. So let's go see a show soon.
Yeah, exactly. We really should.
Perfect.
There's more people I'd rather see than not, So
yeah.
I'm kind of open. I'd love to even see an orchestra. I've never really seen that, and the acoustics there are amazing.
Yeah.
So I'd be open to just for the experience,
Totally.
So, Well, that's what we'll be doing.
Yeah.
But I want to hear more from you guys. I want to continue to push the We Need to Talk segment on the show.
Yeah.
I'm so glad that I've heard from you guys reaching out to me on Twitter. But don't forget, you can also Facebook the show on Facebook, Rants Hollywood Talk Podcast. Or you can email me if you don't have social media, because I want to hear from you anyway.
How do I talk to these beautiful people?
Well, hopefully they will add your Twitter handle in.
Yeah, you guys talk to me too, because I don't want to get too lonely.
So you guys can find Johnny's Twitter handle in the information below this episode.
Yeah, you can.
And he's going to give it in one moment. But I also want you guys to know you can email me at grantspodrants@gmail.com. And I want to hear about a stupid game you want us to play, something you want us to hear, you want us to rant about. Any type of nonsense feedback, comments, questions, and concerns. Just not anything too heavy. And then you can let us know, and you could be featured on the next show, so let me know. All right, Johnny, where can we follow you?
You can find me at Jonny Mangs. That's JONNY, no H, MANGS. Jonny Mangs. I'm on Twitter, and I'm on Instagram. And I need your validation and your likes.
There you go. Right. Love me, please retweet.
Please. I'm just a lonely Hollywood boy.
Thanks for hanging out with us, guys. We'll be back with more rants coming up. Johnny, thanks.
Oh, man. Thank you.
This has been Grant's Rants. Follow us on Twitter at Grants__Rants. Cover art created by Howie Ronay. Voiceover by Sir Richard Wentworth. Original theme music composed by Alexander Arnson.